Today is Nathan Nelson. Nathan is a combat wounded veteran from the Air Force, as well as a former staffer in Congress. He is running to replace Matt Gaetz in Congress's Florida's 1st District up in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Nathan.
Hey, Christopher, thanks for having me, and I'm grateful to be here.
So, Nathan, tell us just kind of off the bat who you are and why are you running for Congress?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, I was injured in Afghanistan on my 3rd deployment. So I was an intelligence officer working for Air Force Special Operations Command. And specifically, it was the Special Tactics community that are headquartered down here at Hurlburt Field. And on that deployment, we were out in a remote location in southeast Afghanistan with a 7th Special Forces Group team when our position got attacked by the Taliban forces, and I took a blast injury very close to me that left me paralyzed. I went through a lot of rehab down in Tampa, but ultimately made that decision as to where I wanted to exit the Air Force, and I couldn't think of a better place than beautiful Northwest Florida. So we moved up here in 2015 and retired out of Hurlburt Field, and we've been loving working here ever since. So since my retirement, I've gotten opportunities to stay in the defense and veteran community, continuing to serve those groups that I love. The region has really embraced me like family so very quickly, and I've been so grateful for that. So I definitely wanted to maintain that momentum and continue to serve where I can.
I started with platoon size element, but it's probably up to a company size element of people running for the Republican nomination in District 1 right now. What makes you different? What sets you apart from the field? What do you kind of tell people about you as the reason they should vote for you and not for somebody else?
Well, one of the through lines that I heard while I was working for Congressman Matt Gaetz as his Director of Military Affairs, and I would go throughout the district to our defense communities and the community elements that supported the DoD and helped, increase and grow, strengthen the military mission, the defense industry that supports that. All of these people said, "Hey, Nate, when Matt moves on and goes to his next assignment, whether he runs for governor or senator or gets some kind of a presidential appointment, you need to make sure that you follow him up, and you need to run and be in his seat." And I was always really grateful for that, and I couldn't really, I always held on to that kind of in the back burner. Didn't really anticipate it happening this go around because Congressman Gaetz campaigned and stated that he intended to fulfill that role in the 119th Congress. But one of the key things that differentiate me from the other candidates is fundamentally my experience with the congressional office, understanding specifically what the primary economic drivers for this district are and what we need to do to grow those so we retain as much economic impact in Northwest Florida as possible. The other piece of that too is just our massive service member and veteran community that exists. We've got more veterans in Northwest Florida than anywhere else in the nation per capita. And we haven't elected a veteran to represent Northwest Florida since Bob Sykes almost 50 years ago, right? So that was one of the things that I heard loud and clear from the veteran community. I lived for almost a year and a half inpatient in the VA, so I understand firsthand how difficult it is for these veterans to really get access to the care that they were promised. And when I was serving with Matt Gaetz, we heard countless stories of the struggle that these veterans have when they are going to access that care that they know that they are qualified for, but they have to struggle through the bureaucracy. And I think that we're at a point right now with, the president's appointments that he has, his stated intent to eliminate and cut a tremendous amount of waste, increase efficiency. I think we're on the verge to really make a huge impact to the quality of life and healthcare for veterans. And so I think I'm the right guy to do that.
Sorry about that. You cut out a little bit. So what in 2026, let's say that you've won your primary, you've won election, and 2026 is here, and you're potentially running for re-election. Mm-hmm. What successes are you planning or hoping to run on in 2026, of course, with the caveat that there's 434 other Congresspeople.
Yeah, absolutely. So my primary intent going into this is going to be supporting the president's agenda to make America great, right? This America First policy, we've got to coalesce together as Republicans, as conservatives, and push this agenda. We got to, change course on the economy. We've got to protect our, rights, free speech, and religion, and Second Amendment. These things that are fundamentally important. And by uniting together, we can make tremendous headway, either pushing through legislation or, removing regulations that inhibit business. So as long as we coalesce together and we work together, we can focus towards the president's agenda. And my intent in the first 2 years is to just support that.
Nathan, if somebody were to come up to you and say, like, what's your bumper sticker for being, I am Nathan Nelson and I am blank, what would you fill out that bumper sticker with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a combat injured veteran. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian. I'm a father. And I'm asking for support to help President Trump fight and push this America First agenda through.
And I guess to explain it on a little bit of a, now that we have like the bumper sticker scale, what about any policies or anything specific that you want to kind of bring to the fore that'll help separate you from any of these other candidates as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, veteran healthcare is a big issue for me, right? And I think it is for a lot of the veterans across Northwest Florida. Removing a lot of the bureaucratic hurdles that exist within the VA, it's kind of bloated. We can create a degree of efficiencies. I think we're going to increase the quality of healthcare for veterans all across the nation and continue to improve. That system is really huge. My policies are aligned directly with President Trump. So, I'm very enthusiastic about helping him push that agenda through. But specifically for Northwest Florida, we've got some tremendous opportunities to grow our unique economy. We've got to protect the military mission here in Northwest Florida. It's key, right? It's actually the primary economic driver. And I'm uniquely positioned to be able to do that because I fundamentally understand what the issues are and what kind of fight we're going to have when we go up there.
Nathan Nelson is running for Congress, the primary for the Republican Party, of which he is a member and will be running for that nomination, is on January the 28th. It's a special election to replace Matt Gaetz. And then the general election for the Republican winner and a Democrat who has already been named, who might also have a primary competitor, is going to be on April the 1st. So the two big election dates for this special election, January 28th and April the 1st. Mr. Nelson, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Christopher.